In this video, I'm going to talk about presentations from one person to 500, how I learned to speak to crowds. Many years ago, the first time I spoke in front of a group, I wasn't ready. I was comfortable at that point in time with small conversations, like 1 to 3 people. I felt safe in those environments. But as soon as you put me in front of a group of 10 or more, I got really nervous and I felt different. In fact, the very first time I stood in front of 30 people, I got so nervous that I forgot everything that I had planned to say. And I don't even know what happened. The presentation took place, but I remember practically none of it because I was so nervous. So let me give you a few things that you can take with you as you're planning to scale up your presentation to larger and larger audiences. The first thing that I'd say is to focus on structure. Structure is going to be your best friend here. Fewer ideas are going to be easier for your audience to digest. A clearer message is going to make things more memorable. In fact, using memorable phrases can help people save moments in time that are novel for them and then recall your information later. If you do some simple Googling, you'll discover for the average person 48 hours after they listen to a presentation, you know how much they remember? About 10%. That means more than 90% of what you say is going to be lost to time because people have short memories. So let me actually tell you this information in a way that I would like for it to stay with you. And this might be something you can use to structure your own larger presentations. So here goes. If you remember nothing else, I want to leave you with 3 things by the end of this video. The first is fewer ideas is going to be easier for your audience to remember. Memorable phrases, I'll use those not to impress you, but to impress upon you that a memorable phrase can go a long way towards helping your audience recall what you say. And then the third thing is that simplicity scales. The simpler your message, the easier it'll be for your audience to remember what you were talking about, whether it be just a couple days later or even a month later. After you digest all of that, the next thing I'd have you focus on is audience psychology. It's important to remember that a crowd, even a big crowd, is just a collection of individuals. So when you're on stage, if you're on stage in front of people or if you're talking to a camera like I am now, make eye contact with your audience. So if I'm standing on stage, I'll make eye contact with the person in the first row. I'll make eye contact with the person 10 rows back. I'll make eye contact with someone who's in the very back of the audience. If I'm on camera, I'll look at my lens from time to time to let the people know that I actually care about connecting with them. And as you practice your presentation, as you get better and more experience from doing this, you'll be able to play with pacing. You can say some things a little bit faster, or you can say some things a little bit slower. Might even be able to pronounce them correctly. But the important thing is that you get the practice. And I would tell you this, that as you continue to repeat and practice and develop the skill, you'll build a presence that can help you when you're having your conversations to your different audiences and might even allow you to hold them with a dramatic pause. And I guess the last thing I'd say under audience psychology is this. I think, and you might disagree, but I think that calm over hype is what matters. So it's okay for you to be passionate about the message that you're delivering, but the information itself can be strong enough and clear enough that you can deliver it in a reasonable way, and the audience members will just receive your message as self-evident because of how clearly you deliver those points. And then I guess the next thing I tell you is that repetition builds capacity. In the beginning, I present it in front of a handful of people, then in front of 10 people, then in front of 20 people, 30 people, 50, 100. The largest audience I've ever spoken to so far has been just over 500 people in person. And I've spoken to many more than that in web conferences and online videos. But your exposure is what's going to remove the fear from this process. And you'll gain mastery through the repetition, the number of presentations you deliver over time. If you're seeing a pattern here, I've mapped out the full skill progression in one page, from problem solving to presentation to leadership. You can download it from the link in the description. In the next video, I'll share what tech support taught me about listening and solving the right problems.